السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم ورش عمل الشركات المستدامة في وزارة التعليم. نبدأ بتجربة جامعة الأمير سلطان في تعزيز البحث والابتكار وريادة الأعمال من الأستاذ الدكتور أنيس قوبة.
الله يبارك فيك. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I'm really glad and delighted today to present you. It's not a talk, but I would say it's a real story that we went through at Prince Sultan University to boost the research from zero to hero. And I'm going to give you the recipe that we have made over the last 4 years on how we have transformed the research and also the innovation at Prince Sultan University, and what are the achievements that we have made. I'm Anis Qouba. I am the Executive Director of the Innovation Center. I'm also the Director of Research and Initiative Center at Prince Sultan University and the Director of the Robotics and Internet of Things Lab. So, first of all, let me start by the challenges. So back in 2018 and earlier, we have been a little bit struggling with the research, and most of our objective was actually to attain 200 publications per year to be eligible for the Times Higher Education ranking, and also to try to produce effective research. But there was several handicaps at that time. And this is a summary of some of the many challenges that we have been facing, starting, for example, from we had centralized and slow decision-making. And the things that I'm going to tell now, even if they apply to Prince Sultan University, I think they apply to many universities where the research need to be transformed, to be more dynamic, to be more flexible in order to make it productive and efficient. Okay, so centralization, slow decision-making, these were the challenges. For example, some of the people who applied for conference, they took several weeks to a couple of months in order to get approval, and sometimes approval may take long. So we had these kind of things for processing research-related transactions, limited infrastructure in research. We didn't have research labs. The research structure by itself was not very well founded. The lack of research leadership, limited university funding, especially to what we have currently right now, and the lack of research labs that already implemented. So this is some of the challenges that face universities in general, and Prince Sultan University in particular back in 2018 and before. So our objective was actually to be a top university in research and being recognized with awards, accreditation, and ranking. And I think we have achieved this to a very good extent, although the most difficult part is not to go to the top, but to remain over there. So we had to consider many things in order to go for the success. First of all, optimize the efficiency. And here when I talk about the efficiency, it's not only we talk about the productivity, but also I consider the efficiency, it's something like a ratio between the research expenditure and the productivity. Many universities, probably they will pay millions, but probably the productivity is not at the level of the expenditure. It must be we must have kind of a return of investment. I see research for a university is kind of return investment. If I pay something, what will be the reward over what I have paid? So efficiency is something very important. Building the local capacities. I have a faith in research that we can do the things by our own and not be dependent on others. This is something that I really believe in, and I will demonstrate what we are able to do by local capacities. Of course, I don't neglect collaboration, but collaboration, it must be a win-win situation. It must not be a dependency on others. The infrastructure, it's really important to build the research infrastructure to have a sustainable research. Changing the culture. I mean, most of the universities, including our own a couple of years ago, they focus more on teaching, administration. Research is always good, but it's not given enough time and resources to make it productive and efficient. We have address this gap as well. Now, the research culture at Prince Sultan University is at its best level because every person, every faculty member, every researcher is motivated to do research, is not pushed to do research. And this is something completely different. So this is a summary of the process transformation that we have followed, the roadmap, which starts by decentralization. I mean, the decision-making should not be centralized always at the university level. It must be decentralized because the university level, the university management, they are very busy. They cannot go into all single details of research-related transactions. The research lab and infrastructure. The second thing what we have done is to build an infrastructure, is to create research labs. Now we have 22 research labs at Prince Sultan University. We did not have any lab at 2017. The process, digitization, and automation. One of the most important things is to automate the research-related transaction. We should not wait very long. The processes must be transparent. Everybody must know what's happening at any time. What is this transaction? If you apply to a conference, if you applied for a fees, if you applied for incentive, he must know everything in real time and avoid any kind of delay. So also we made digital transformation in terms of research infrastructure. Outreach and impact, because this was part of our vision, is to be world recognized in terms of research and innovation. Attract high-profile researchers, because we need human resource capacities and resources in order to improve our research. And finally, after doing all of this, now we look very well to the innovation part, which is mostly about the commercialization of the academic research. We don't want to stop into doing publications, into getting into the ranking systems, but we want to commercialize, get return on the investment. And I'm going to explain all this roadmap all over my talk. So let me start by the decentralization. The objective of this is actually to avoid decentralization bureaucracy. And with bureaucracy, we have inefficiency because it will lead to very low productivity, lack of incentives, it's slow operation times. Times is very important, by the way. It's even more important than money, because if we delay transactions, if we don't process things in real time, people will lose motivation and they will not have any interest to follow up. Lower freedom, because usually with bureaucracy we have rigid laws that govern the actions, and it has to go through a long hierarchy. At Prince Sultan University, we have shrunken the hierarchy to the lowest possible in order to make fast decision making. Of course, bureaucracy has also rigidity, miscommunication. It's almost known to difficult access to the higher management. I think the higher management should be reachable, maybe if it's not directly, but in a very fast way through people working in the research management. And also bureaucracy will lead to uncreativity. So, alhamdulillah, now we have decentralized. Now, for example, all the conference attendance, the decisions are made on the colleges. They are forwarded to the research center. And afterwards, it will be sent to the higher management for execution. Of course, we have bylaws that we have to follow. It's not completely random, but we have bylaws. But if the bylaws are followed, so we send it to the higher management for execution. Research lab and infrastructure. And here, I would like to point out something between project-based research and lab-based research. Now, what's happening in many universities, at least those from many I know, they try to create temporary research groups. Sometimes they call them research projects over 1 year period with a couple of researchers with a particular budget, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. And then the objective is just to publish 5 papers, 10 papers, or whatever number of papers. This is not an efficient way to manage the research, because it's going to be like something, it's like selling research or buying research. It's not sustainable, by the way, because when the research group ends, when the research project ends, okay, there is no more research. At the other side, if you establish research labs, so the labs are independent of people, independent of anything. It creates the research identity of the university. It creates the research identity of the colleges. It creates the research identity of the researchers themselves. So at Prince Sultan University, we have invested on creating research labs and investing also on creating the research infrastructures that the researchers and the research lab would need to execute the research. It's not a matter of, I will provide you a budget of some thousands of riyal, and you have to provide me with publication. Publication will come naturally if you provide the right resources. If you provide the right environment, you will have publication anyway. When you have a research lab with a lab leader, he will be accountable. He will be accountable not only to provide research publications, but to provide other things like innovation, like impact. So, and this is why we have an annual research lab evaluation, and every research lab has to make presentation of their activities in front of the president himself in order to defend what he has done. And of course, the funding may depend on what the research lab have been doing over 1 year. So it will be the more stress on the lab leaders to be productive, and this is more efficient as well, because any money that you are going to put on the lab, you will always see its impact. You will have equipment, you will have devices, you will have full-time researchers. In contrast to project-based, it's only 1 year, it's temporary. When it finishes, everything will be ended. So we should not be driven by the ranking systems. Okay, ranking is good to some extent. But being driven by the ranking system, I just need to publish to be in top 100 universities or top 200 universities. I don't think this is an objective, but it will be a result, a consequence, if you build your research right. So now you can see now the evolution of the research lab at Prince Sultan University. In 2018, we had only 1 research lab. Then in 2019, we had around 5, and it started to grow. Now we have, this is 20, but now we have almost 22, and even more have been submitted as well. Okay, every college we have from 3 to 5, 6 research labs in different areas, in Internet of Things, emerging technologies, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence. In College of Humanity and Science, we have Applied Linguistics Lab. We have also Theoretical Applied Science Lab, Educational Research Lab, Energy, Environment and Water for hydrogen and nanotechnology. Okay, so in College of Engineering, we have 5 research labs. In College of Architecture and Design, 1 research lab, College of Law, and College of Business Administration. And the research lab, they have freedom. They can recruit full-time researchers. They can buy equipment. They can have facilities, resources. If you don't have a research lab, you still have some resources, but it's not as the same way when being affiliated with the research lab. And also from management perspective of the research, it's much easier for us as a research manager to deal with lab leaders rather than dealing with several number of faculty members doing the research. So it's kind of clustering all faculty members into research labs to make it much easier for the management and also more efficient. And most importantly, we now have identity of the research. We know our strength. We know what we are doing. People knows what are the pillars of the research at Prince Sultan Universities, and this later on will help a lot when you do innovation, because people will come to commercialize the research outcomes that are part of your strength. So I was planning to show you some videos about the research lab, but unfortunately it didn't work here because we did internet connection. This is a video. I'm going to maybe can provide the link later on. I want to show you the research infrastructure that you have at Prince Sultan University. Okay, another thing in the roadmap is process digitization and automation. And here I talk about the transparency of research transactions. From my perspective, a research director, my objective is to serve faculty members and make them satisfied. And for this, I have to make clear, transparent, every research process and why we are doing any bylaws. And this is why we do a lot of webinars explaining our directions, explaining our processes, so that everybody is at the same page. And for this, we have made several technology solutions, starting from a web portal. Now, whenever I receive a question, okay, how can I submit for publication incentive? How can I attend the conference? I will not respond directly, but I will just send a link to the website, because the website contains a comprehensive description of every research process. So this is really very important to have a complete documentation of everything. And the research website is service-oriented. I mean, it's not made just to show the news of myself or anybody at the university. No, it shows the services that we are providing. It shows the innovation that we are producing. It shows the outcomes that we are making at the university. So the website should be service-oriented. They should serve faculty members on how to perform their research activities. Also, we provided mobile app. So we have a mobile app where every faculty member can track his research publications, his performance, his research incentives, publication fees, everything can be tracked over a mobile app. This is all developed within the Research and Initiative Center. Of course, we can't do that without the support of the higher management. And I take the opportunity to thank now, even if he's not with us, Dr. Ahmed Yamani, because he provides all kinds of facilities to make everything happen. And another important thing, if you want to develop bylaws, if you want to make any decision-making in the future, we should not do it randomly. We do it based on numbers. And this is why we have a complete information system and data analytic framework about every single transaction that was made, every single publication. We have a lot of information that allow us to extract some of the results I'm going to show you just later on. And having a comprehensive information system, it helps us to understand about our processes, about our outcomes, for example, in terms of collaboration, in terms of college performance, in terms of research lab performance. We have all the data to be able to get these dashboards. And this is a snapshot, for example, from the Research and Initiative Center. We have information about the research fund, about statistics, about the innovation, about full-time researchers that we have. We have different researcher programs I'm going to show, different labs on the resources, news and media, and also our policies. And here, for example, at every college, we have what we call the College Research Director, which coordinate between faculty members and also the research centers for any transaction. And this is an example of the publication records. Now we have a website where you can find all our publication. You can search by keyword for the paper name, journal name, publisher, the ranking, Scopus ranking, which college, which department. So we have all different information about our publications. It's available. You can access it and you can find anything. Even we provide a way on how to cite our papers. If some people will click here, you can have the citation in BibTeX or in normal format. So this is the application here. It's also another video we can't play, unfortunately. It's an application that we have developed in the Research Initiative Center, okay, where the faculty member can have all his related information. Okay, so the fourth thing is recognition and support. If you do research, if you don't recognize your faculty members, if you don't give them their respect, their values, they will lose motivation. Okay, so we have different, this is from the last opening ceremony made by the president, and here that was part of the ceremony was also to recognize Research Excellence Awards, and we don't actually have only one award, we have multiple awards because there are different ways on how we can quantify and evaluate the researchers. Okay, look, for example, here we have different awards. جائزة تميز في مجال الأبحاث. These are the names. Also, the highest, the 2% scholar that appeared in Stanford University ranking. Also, the highest impact publications that are from pure research outcomes, and the best 10 that are indexed in Scopus. Another thing is also we try to transform, we also developed research programs that are related to important events, like in the era of COVID-19, we have created a new program for the COVID-19 research, and we have made an award for the best research outcomes of COVID-19 research. We have now more than 180 publications just related to COVID-19 since the start of pandemic. And now the focus is more on climate change, so we did another initiative about the climate change research, which is open to all faculty members, and later on they can apply for the award, and they can apply for research papers, for innovation work, or any other thing that can solve the problem of the climate change. The outreach and impact, this is really important. When you do a lot of work, you need to expose it to the society, you need to expose it to the community, you need to make outreach nationally and also internationally. And this is something that we have been working on. So one of the things is that we made several interviews for our distinguished researchers that are available here. And we provide different kind of reportage videos showing, for example, the research lab at Prince Sultan Universities, or the innovation product, or the seminars that we do outside. And we have booklet for everything. Our strategic plan, okay, the research is annually evaluated at Prince Sultan University. We make an annual research report that provides all the outcomes from 2019, 2020, 2021. They are available online. You can download them and you can find all the information. For all the research labs, we have a brochure, and also we have every year, every research lab has to make an annual research report, because this is the base of evaluation. I will evaluate every research lab on their outcomes, and this should be documented in the research reports. Also, we have an orientation program for new faculties. We need to advertise our services, so we provide them these kind of brochures to be aware of what is the Research and Initiative Center, what are the services that we provide to them. So the fifth is to attract high profile. And this is something very important. Research, you need to have different type of minds, okay, that will work together in order to innovate, in order to produce high quality research. And you know, as faculty members, we have a lot of duties in terms of research, in terms of teaching, in terms of administration. Nobody has the time to focus a lot, 100% on research. So at the university, we decided to have full-time researchers program. And now we have more than 60 full-time researchers not doing anything but research. They don't do administration, they don't do teaching. They do teaching on request, on demand, mostly one course, or most of the time they don't teach anything. Okay, so we have invited researcher programs, distinguished visiting professor, and we have senior researchers, postdoc researchers, so we have a lot of postdoc, more than 20 postdoc at PSU. Research assistants, they are holder of master degrees, research engineers who are holder of bachelor degrees for making development, for making experiment, and research-related activities. And to encourage researchers, we made also a researcher promotion. We need to promote our researcher after a couple of years when they do achievements. We promote research engineer to assistant, from assistant to researcher, from researcher to senior researcher, to principal researcher, and we have a complete bylaw on how we promote the researchers. Now, this was the infrastructure that we have established over the last 4 years. And let me show you now what's the impact on the outcome. This is the evolution of PSU publications over the years. Okay? So we started working on this seriously from 2018, and we were below than 200 publications. The first year, we've made almost the double of the publications, okay? By continuously improving our policies, as of today, we have 1,023. These are only journal publications. I don't talk about conferences, I don't talk about books, book chapter, you have so many, but here we focus on journal publications. And this is not something like, it didn't come from the day to the other, but it has been a very accurate strategy that I have presented to you to be able to reach this one. We are continuously increasing. We didn't even reach the stable number here, and we aim also to increase this over the years. So you can see here, in terms of quality, 83% of our papers are in Q1, Q2 Scopus publications, because we don't want to publish into low-quality journals. We are restricting our bylaws from 1 year to the other to reduce the number of low-quality papers and even stopping them completely. For example, 2 years ago, we were at 75%. Now we are at 83%. Next year, inshallah, we will be at 90% Q1, Q2 papers. We have +3 publications per faculty. We are the highest after KAUST in terms of number of publications per faculty, and you can check it. The publication increase ratio is +450% over the last 4 years. This is the heat map that shows the collaboration of PSU with other countries. So we have a wide network. We are almost collaborating with every country in this world. This is also in terms of increase of number of citations per year. Okay, we were at 1,700 citations per year. As of today, we are at almost 16,000 citations per year. So this is the thing that we want to measure. This is the impact that we want to do, is to increase not only the number of publications, but the quality of publication and their impact and the number of citations. It's one of the ways to measure the impact, but it's not the only way to measure the impact. Because citations, they can be manipulated. And this is why we focus on other type of metrics on how to evaluate the research impact at Prince Sultan University. These curves show the evolution of active researchers. This means the researchers who have published at least one publication per year. In 2019, when we started, we were at 85%. 1 year before, we was at 85 faculty members involved in the research. 1 year before, it was only 42 faculty members. And now we are at 168 faculty members among around 300 faculty members. So it's more than 50% of faculty members, they are involved in the research. Also, PSU have established a journal with Emerald Publishing, which is Scopus indexed. It's called the PSU Research Review International and Interdisciplinary Journal. And you can see the evolution of the journal over the years in terms of number of downloads from the website. Okay, another pillar that we want to improve also and consider at PSU is student involvement, undergraduate student involvement and graduate student involvement. Students should be part of the research. Since I started my research at PSU, my students, they are part of my lab until today. If you go now in our booth, you will see a drone for delivery and for pesticide inspection. Part of this drone was built by my students that I'm teaching now the UAV course. They are part of our lab. They have full access. They can access our researchers, participate with us in publications. And look at the number of publications involving PSU students. In 2021, we had a total of 36 publications with students. In 2022, we have 129. It was even a handful of publications before. So we have a strategy that students should be part of the research ecosystem at PSU because they are the future. Okay, whatever they stay in the lab. And by the way, we have even a program that would hire our students to the research lab after doing a co-op within our research labs. So we also have our students in our labs. This is also an annual event that we do for undergraduate students in all universities in Saudi Arabia, which is called the Undergraduate Research Forum, to encourage students to publish papers and also to present their papers. Okay, and we give also financial awards to these students. This forum is going to happen on 4 and 5 December 2022. And this is the number of participants every year. Of course, after the pandemic, the number decreased a little bit because of the pandemic situation. Faculty recognition, that is also something very important to consider if you want people and faculty members to be always motivated by doing the research. So Prince Sultan University, it was ranked 8th in the Kingdom Researcher Index in the top 2% scholars in the world according to Stanford University. And by the way, I think we should be number 7 because there are 3 of our faculty that were wrongly indexed by Scopus as being from other universities, but they make part of us. But anyway, I think regarding the size of PSU in terms of number, being 8, it's a good number. Last year we have only 14 faculty members, and now we have 26 faculty members. So it's almost the double of the last year. And this is the list. We have 25 faculty members in the list as career-based, 2% list, and we have 9 faculty members that are, the 25 are yearly based because there are 2 classifications. It's yearly based or career based. For the career based, we have 9 over there, all career. And you can see this is an extract from Scopus, the H index of the highly cited researchers, 45. It's one of the best scholars in the world in their field and disciplines, because these are very high H index. We have also Dr. Thabit Abdel Jawad, who is listed in the top 1% scholars in the ISI, in the Web of Science, in the area of mathematics. Okay, so let's look at our ranking. That was one of the objectives. Okay, in 2019, we were ranked at QS ranking as having low research profile. Now, if you look in 2021, we are ranked as having a high research profile. This is one of the things that we were able to achieve. Now, if you look at the QS ranking criteria, papers per faculty, I'm going to show you citation per papers. Okay, they require to have 8 citation per paper to get 40 points. We have 10.45 citation per papers. The research fund, we have 15% of our annual budget. It's dedicated for the research fund. Now, looking at the first criteria, which is paper per faculty, you can see how it increased. Okay, so in 2022, we have 2.9 paper per faculty, and in 2017, we had 0.7 paper per faculty. And again, we are the second university after KAUST in terms of number of paper per faculty member. In Times Higher Education in the Arabic region, we are the first in terms of citations. This is in Times Higher Education Arab region ranking. For the awards this year, we have been shortlisted in the Times Higher Education Award Asia 2022 among 8 universities in the field of leadership and management of the team. We have presented our application. We presented the different achievements that we have been made in the last couple of years, and we have been shortlisted in the Times Higher Education Award. These are the different awards that we have gotten. We received the best AI product and also the AI leadership in the last AI Expo that was held in Riyadh in May 2022. And we also got the first prize for the KAUST Challenge of Hajj and Umrah. We were awarded by His Excellency Prince the Governor of Mecca, Prince Khalid Al Faisal. And so these are the most important rewards that we've received. In terms of building human resource capabilities, the full-time researcher program, now we have plus 60 full-time researchers in 22 research labs and groups, which is really very important. We also, PSU, organized several conferences every year. In 2022, we organized 4 conferences, ICSDI, Smart Tech, CDMA on artificial intelligence, and women in data science. And finally, I will talk about innovation. Okay, so we have been doing great in research, in academic research. We have a lot of publications, we have a good number of citations. But what's next? Should we stop here? Of course, no. We need to commercialize the research. This is now the next challenge that we are addressing, and we start to make very good steps. The commercialization in research, getting funds from the research, is the only way to have your research ecosystem sustainable. Otherwise, the universities or even the government, they cannot pay for long. They will pay you to get started, but at the end, and we are a private university, we are self-funded, so we need to make effort in order to generate funds out of the research. So now we have, this is the Research Initiative Center that works on the academic research, and now we have established the Innovation Research Center, which has 3 offices: the Intellectual Property Office for patents and IP protection, the Technology Transfer Office, which aims to create startups, business, and also licensing, and we have the Legal Office, which works in collaboration with the Compliance Office at the university, and we have also under the umbrella the different centers and startups that we create at Prince Sultan University. Now, recently we became an accredited center by the Saudi Intellectual Property Authority, SAPE. مركز معتمد لدعم الملكية الفكرية من الهيئة السعودية للملكية الفكرية. And we started to apply now patents through our innovation center. So let me show you this very important diagram, which shows the gap between the public sector, which are the universities, and the private sectors. So what we usually do at the university is academic research. And this is where the public fund or the university fund will be concentrated. It will be focused here to make publications. And the best that the university can do is to create proof of concept. So usually when we measure the maturity of a research, we are going to use what we call technology readiness level, which starts from 1, and 1 it's basic technology or just a concept or an idea. And it will go to technology readiness 9, where you have a complete system deployed in real world and you are making a business out of it. But between the first level and the last level, there is a big gap. And the universities, usually they will stop at this level, technology readiness 3 or 4. So you can see the funding is going to decrease at the university as soon as you want to push to a commercial product. And this is kind of the value of death. Nobody is interested in this because the business is going to come to you when you have something at this level. When you have a product ready to sell, the business will come to you. So the Innovation Center is trying to fill this gap. It's trying to link the faculty members, the academic researchers, to the industrial sector in order to fill this gap. And this is go through technology transfer, intellectual property, legal affairs, because it will involve not only technical issues, but business issues, marketing issues, funding. You need also people for operation. Now, for example, in my lab, I have many products, but I'm not concerned to do operation. I'm not concerned to do business. I'm not concerned to go to the marketing or dealing legal contract with investors. This is the role of Innovation Center, which is a complete ecosystem whose role is actually to address all these gaps in order to make a product go from this level and to the last level and make money out of it. So technology localization, this is something that we heard about. It's part of the Vision 2030. And there are two options. So most of the companies now, they are considering technology localization as with international companies. And they're doing this through either direct investment or doing partnership to bring foreign product, international product, and localize them here in the kingdom. And then we have met with a lot of companies, international companies. They come here, they want to have an academic arm like universities in order to train there, to train a student to become later on employees in this technology that they will bring to the kingdom. Okay, this is fast. It has lower risk, but it's very expensive, and we will be always dependent on third parties. We will not have the intellectual property. We will not have the design. If you want to customize anything, if you want to change anything, you have to get the agreement of these third parties. And I don't think this is a very good strategy in the longer run. Okay? I focus more on developing things, at least from our university locally here, through research and development and also innovation centers. And I think there have been some talks that try to focus now الآن عندنا هيئة الابتكار التي أنشئت حديثا في المملكة, and I hope it will make the gap between for technology localization to focus more on the outcomes that will come from the research. Of course, research at university is much cheaper. It may take time, but at the end it will make better local capability because you own the idea, you own the design. Manufacturing is not an issue. You can manufacture anywhere. But having your own designs, your own intellectual property, you have the whole power. You are not depending on anyone. So this should be actually considered for major investment in order to bridge the gap between what universities are doing and what is the market need. So this is the evolution of number of patents at Prince Sultan University. Now we have 9 US patents. But by the way, the number of patents is not our objective. There are many universities that would say I have 100 patents, 200 patents, 900 patents, but you don't care about this because at the end they are going to abandon many of these patents because these patents are not bringing money and they have to pay the fees every year, and this is not sustainable. Okay? They will have to pay millions, if not billions, in order to keep this patent, and they are not generating money. In Prince Sultan University, we focus on protecting ideas that doesn't have only potential to bring money, but they are already mature product, and they are ready to go to the business. In this way, we guarantee a faster return on investment without losing our times into filing patents, following up with patents, and at the end is not going to serve anything, only the number as KPI. But this is not going to be very efficient in terms of money return on investment. Okay, so these are some planned videos that unfortunately we cannot play of the different innovation products that we have produced at Prince Sultan University. I finish with entrepreneurship, which is creating startups and business incubators. So we have a partnership with our local partner, IB. It's a company specialized in creating startups. And we have created a first program that will allow students to create their startups by going through the incubation program of this company. And now we have 2 startups ready to go, okay, from our students, completely from PSU students, one of interior design and another one about 3D printing. Okay, I have to stop here because now I think I reached my speech time, and thank you very much for your attention, and you're welcome to ask any question. Thank you.
Thanks, Prof. Anis, for this great presentation. You've talked about the infrastructure of building your process to develop the strategy. Also, you've talked about how you support your people to increase the research and extra. What about your partnership with the industry and partner? Is any strategy about to increase more to have partnership with the industry?
Yes, that is important, and we do have a strategy since a long time ago. And even now, with the elaboration of the research infrastructure, we are having more and more industrial partners. We don't go to them, but they come to us. And they want to establish MOUs and agreement for collaborations. We have so many, we have so many visitors, investors every week coming to establish collaborations. But let me tell you something with respect to with companies and their relation with universities, because I have a big experience with them since a very long time ago. Usually these companies or big companies, when they come to the universities, they look for free or very cheap solutions. They are not willing to invest. They are not willing to share their data. It's really difficult. If you don't have personal relationships, if you don't have direct channels with decision making, it's difficult to almost impossible. We had collaboration with big companies here. I don't want to get the names. The fund is very little for the work that we need to do as POCs. Okay, it was rewarding at some point in time when we are starting with the research and so on, but at this level, for example, I won't go into collaboration if it is at serious business level. Of course, this depends from one university to another level of maturity of the products, but we have been focusing on developing ourselves in terms of business-oriented research, so that when we make collaboration at business level, we stand at the same level of industry, not at a lower level of the industry. This is something very important. Otherwise, you will end up by being misused. You will get some money. Maybe you won't have some KPIs for your research labs or institution, but it's not worth of the effort that a university with its resources will have to do to make it happen with the company. And this is why now our main strategy is to open our companies, is to go as competitors to these companies, because we have skills, we have resources, we have know-how that probably many don't have. And this is why most of the companies, when they get big projects, they are going to bring solutions, in most of the cases, from outside. I don't talk about the companies that they have self-capabilities to build solutions, but most of them, they will go to X countries to bring solutions and localize them here. University is excellent in creating local capabilities, but we need to provide the efficient environment to make this happen, because it's a difficult process. I mean, we have been working very hard in the past couple of years to make this at this level. It is the collaboration of everyone. It's not a one-man show. I didn't do that on my own. I have a team, we have a president, we have a higher management who is very facilitator of all the things that we want to do, and we did them, alhamdulillah. And now this is why we look more seriously into not only with industrial collaboration, we are always open to this. I have almost 2-3 meetings a week with companies, but to create companies either with investors or owned by the university to be competitor in the market. Yeah. Yes.
Can you go back to that slide with the value of debt?
Yeah.
So my question is, there might be many overlap between the innovations and entrepreneurship in this area.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is part of innovation.
So how did you manage that overlap between the two, like innovations and entrepreneurship?
I don't consider these as two separate entities. I consider that the innovation is the big umbrella under which you have intellectual property, you have technology transfer, and under technology transfer you have startups. Okay, because startups, it's part of transferring the technology to the market. Why we create startups? It's because we have some skills, some technology that we want to transfer. So we put this under the umbrella of the technology transfer, and now we have started with business incubation of students' ideas, and now we're in the process of making business incubation for the research lab outcomes. Okay, so entrepreneurship, this is part of the core objective of the Innovation Center, in terms of structure, I mean. Yeah. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your attendance. Thank you.